presentation is going to be by Bitu, and she's going to present Decolonising Health. She also, Decolonising Health has informed her stall. I think she might be saying something about that as well. The stall is in the back, Nature Code, and also the food. We cooked a lot of food for everyone, and so there's going to be a break in which we'll have all of this food, which is all informed by her Decolonising Health module.
This is actually doing a bit embarrassing. Thank you very much. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. I'm an activist committed to replacing all man-made forms of supremacy with a system of justice. I'm here to present the model Decolonising Health, and I will also attempt to facilitate the model this year towards the end. The aim of this model is to study the influence of structural racism on our health and current health-related issues and their causes. The model will attempt to present alternative systemic solutions to these problems and provide learners with knowledge enabling them to improve and possibly decolonize their health and sense of well-being. Okay. As I previously mentioned, I'm interested in understanding the influence of systemic racism's effects on our health matters. I will approach the issue keeping in mind Neil Fuller Jr.'s statement on white supremacy. If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you do understand will only confuse you. So what is white supremacy? White supremacy is a system of thought, speech, and action operated by people who classify themselves as white and who use deceit, violence, and/or the threat of violence to subjugate, use, and/or abuse people classified as non-white, under conditions that promote the practice of falsehood, injustice, and incorrectness in one or more areas of activity for the ultimate purpose of maintaining, expanding, and/or refining the practice of white supremacy racism. Fuller Jr. Identifies 9 major areas of people activity which are interconnected and which together compromise the white supremacy racism. And you can see the areas: economics, education, entertainment, labor. Actually, this is the crest of those things. Are we going to jump a bit? Yeah. Labor law, politics, religion, sex, war, and economics. Chris Wilson has extended Fuller Jr.'s framework by adding health as a 10th area of activity in the white supremacist racist system. This requires them to consider how health relates to other major areas of activity, such as economics, entertainment, and all the others. And as a counter-racist, I have to attempt replacing this racist health system with one that is consistent with justice. Okay. I should like to briefly mention why I have chosen to facilitate a model on decolonising health. I have no educational background in the areas of health, nutrition, or medicine. I became interested in the subject a few years ago after I found out that I have a condition called hypothyroidism, which is also defined as underactive thyroid. I was given an NHS medical exemption card, which made me think about the seriousness of the condition and started to research its causes. During the course of my research, I find myself being confronted with a large number of terrifying facts. I discovered that the whole system of food, personal care, and medicine has been progressively poisoned since the start of the Industrial Revolution. During the last century, industrial food production has taken control of our food supply, and supermarkets have been filled with products containing a large number of chemicals. Most of these products are made up, invented in laboratories, and go through various types of processing, including genetic changes. Even the food referred to as healthy is not really healthy. They have been processed and responsible for so many health conditions, including obesity, cancer, heart disease, and diabetes, all of which have been increasing in the last century and currently are at an all-time high. These products are low-fat, low-calories, and yet people, in particular children, are still getting bigger and sicker. So then we ask why. In order to answer this question, we need to understand the nature of the system in which we are living, or rather we're dying. In the contemporary global white supremacist system, the food system is based on exploitation and injustice. Non-white communities tend to have unhealthy food options before them, and it is almost impossible for them to gain access to locally available healthy food. To make the problem worse, whatever healthy food is available to them is often more expensive than similar purchases in wealthier areas. From seat to table, the global white supremacist controlled food industry is rife with discrimination, oppression, and the denial of basic rights. Rights to healthy food, rights to land, rights to a clean environment, and rights to an equal opportunity for success and livelihood for non-white people. To deal with these issues, in the past 25 years, a variety of food movements have crafted an coherent opposition to the corporate-controlled food industry. They have been encouraging eaters to turn away from industrially produced and processed goods created from monocultures and instead choose fresh and often organic offerings supplied by local farms. However, these movements have consisted predominantly of white, middle-class white people who are like-minded, with similar backgrounds and values who have come to similar conclusions about how our food system should change. They have not been concerned about racial inequalities under this global structural racist system, which reproduces a cycle of injustice in the food system. So they come up, I'm just going to talk about the pseudo-solutions. So this, in this organic food movements, we have an example, Michael Pollan. Poland recently offered a list of food rules intended to guide consumers toward eating practices aligned with the food movement. However, when Poland tells us not to eat anything your great-grandmother wouldn't recognize as food, he ignores the fact that our great-grandmothers come from a wide range of social and economic contexts that may have informed their perceptions of food quite differently. Some were enslaved, transported across the ocean, and forced to eat leftovers from the master's table. Others were forcibly sent to state-mandated boarding schools in which they were taught to despise and even forget any foods they would previously have recognized. And those who immigrated from various parts of the global south, in the past few generations, may have great-grandmothers who saw the foods they recognized demeaned or even forbidden by those who claimed their lands. Poland fails to consider the effects of race on food access and the alternative meanings his words may hold for non-white people in the United States or elsewhere. In the same way, whites in these organic movements often simply do not see the subtle exclusivities that are woven into its narrative. Food justice must therefore be analyzed through a more intersectional lens that includes an understanding of structural racism instead of individual acts of exclusion or racism alone. Another pseudo-solution to health problems was the message, eat less and exercise more. Just before the video clip, governments, media and health authorities have for some time been pushing the message that the people have voracious appetites and they don't exercise enough, they're overweight because they're lazy, unambitious, and lack willpower. All they have to do is eat less and exercise more. The subtle message underlying all this is that it's your fault, your fact. I have a short, do you want to just run that? The quality of the calorie, and the calorie is not a calorie, basically. It's more what are you taking? The sugar, when the products are processed, they go through the body in a different way than the normal whole foods. So the processed food is the real killer here. And another solution they came up with, eat healthy. Basically, it was they started promoting healthy eating, low-fat diets, fruit juices, fat-free cereals, yogurts, and many more sugar-filled processed food. People may say here that, oh, okay, fresh fruit juice is not unhealthy. Unfortunately, because of the sugar content, it does the same thing as what the Coke is doing in your body and just turns to fat immediately. Here again, you'll see organic fruit and not whole grain oats versus the sugar grams. It's basically a double amount. You will think that you're eating an organic and whole grain oats, but then you just have a double amount of sugar, which is turning fat in your body. I'm just going to go, I have very little time, so I'm just going to quickly go through the real solutions, which is an anti-systemic movement in America. Fresh Roots is a US-based movement which focuses on educating consumers who have been raised on fast food and haven't had green produce as an option before. They practice what they preach, delivering locally grown food, fruit and vegetables to people who do not have access to fresh food, mostly because grocery stores are too far to get to without a car. Fresh Roots aims to overcome this obstacle by making greens easily accessible even to the most impoverished neighborhoods. Okay, so this is the structure of the model. It's going to have three parts. The first part is going to be on food, and these are the titles. I'm planning to run that for like 6 weeks. And the second one is going to be about personal care. And these are the titles, and we'll be looking at the chemicals in the products. And the third part is going to be about medicine, how the medicine is actually affecting our health, and we're going to study also the political side of it. Okay, so thank you very much.